Hey everybody, back with another one. I'm gonna stay on this migrant because this stuff is absolutely insane. I think the people being paid to do this because Venezuelan crime done went down 22% because they here. This is unbelievable what happened in Indiana. Hold on, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all.
Honduras is now behind bars after a massive manhunt in Indiana. Dimas Gabrielle Yanez is accused of stabbing a 14-year-old girl while she was attending her younger brother's baseball game. The suspect was deported in 2018 and is linked to several other crimes across the United States. Matt Ramian was coaching the brothers' baseball team. Good morning to you, Matt. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for what you do for the kids.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. So tell us what happened. What did you see?
Well, I was just coaching a baseball game like I pretty much do all the time. And I'm on third base. I looked to talk to my on-deck batter, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this dude just come out of behind my dugout. And all he did was just jump on this girl. And then he started to push her down onto the bleachers. And then he pulls out at least a 16 to 20 inch knife. It wasn't even a regular sized pocket knife, and just started swinging it and got her a few times, and blood went all over the bleachers and on the people sitting in front of him. Then he just takes off running down the. What the piss is happening in this country?
Right.
What is going on? What do you hold on. What do you mean that he just pulls out a big blade, jumps out, and just starts stabbing this little girl? That's crazy. Yo, you didn't hear about this stuff. And this was the thing. And I'm not saying that America didn't have its own problems and that we didn't have to deal with certain things that was happening in this society and so on and so forth. But I'm saying that this wasn't a thing. You didn't have people, illegal migrants from Venezuela and Honduras. Is crazy. This is why a couple of different things before we hear the rest of this story. Number one, I'm always very, very, very sketchy of other cultures because I don't know, and I know that this is a deeper part of the conversation, I don't know the spirits that you bring in over here.
And that's a fact.
I'm very careful of whether or not I shake certain people's hands.
I never even thought about the spirits that these people is bringing. That is a fact. The spiritual aspect. Because a lot of them practice the dark arts. And if you know what the darks are, a lot of them practice that. And I was just messed up. I didn't think about that. That was a great point.
Whether I give certain people hugs. All of this, let's bring in Kevin O'Leary, chairman of O'Leary Ventures. And
shoot. Oh my God. I done messed up the video. That's because I'm sleepy. Oh man. Oh, what am I doing? No. Oh. What happened to the video?
Hundreds of people gathered for a vigil tonight to pay tribute to the 4 people who died in a school shooting in Georgia
Oh,
today.
that's not it.
14-year-old
Oh my
students
God.
accused of opening fire at Appalachian High School today was previously.
Okay, maybe I can bring it up now. Okay, here it is.
Is now behind bars after a massive manhunt in Indiana. Dimas Gabrielle Yanez is accused of stabbing a 14-year-old girl while she was attending her younger brother's baseball game. The suspect was deported in 2018 and is linked to several other crimes across the United States. Matt Ramian was coaching the brothers' baseball team. He was on third base. with a player, and he saw the whole thing and joins us now. Good morning to you, Matt. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for what you do for the kids.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning. So tell us what happened. What did you see?
Well, I was just coaching a baseball game like I pretty much do all the time, and I'm on third base. I look to talk to my on-deck batter, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this dude just come out of behind my dugout, and all he did was just jump on this girl, and then he started to like push her down onto the bleachers, and then he pulls out at least a 16 to 20 inch knife. It wasn't even a regular sized pocket knife, and just started swinging it and got her a few times, and blood went all over the bleachers and on the people sitting in front of him. Then he just takes off running down the.
What the piss is happening?
What is happening?
What is going on? What do you hold on. What do you mean that he just pulls out a big blade, jumps out, and just starts stabbing this little girl? That's crazy. Yo, you didn't hear about this stuff. And this wasn't a thing. And I'm not saying that America didn't have its own problems and that we didn't have to deal with certain things that was happening in society and so on and so forth. But I'm saying that this wasn't a thing. You didn't have people, illegal migrants from Venezuela and Honduras, just randomly walking around with knives and jumping out and stabbing little 14-year-old girls. And that's just the end of the conversation. Like, this is crazy. And this is why a couple of different things before we hear the rest of this story. Number one, I'm always very, very, very sketchy of other cultures because I don't know, and I know that this is a deeper part of the conversation, I don't know the spirits that you bring in over here.
And that's a fact.
I'm very careful of whether or not I shake certain people's hands, whether I give certain people hugs. I don't go into everybody else's houses. I'm very lyrical. When I went down to Louisiana, right? I went down to Louisiana. Actually, it wasn't even until Louisiana. I went to Biloxi. And I like to hang out in Biloxi because that's like my hidden little spot, my hidden little gem or whatever. And then we would drive over to New Orleans, and I see all of the voodoo shops and stuff. There's certain things that I won't even go into. I had read a thing where a woman she would put like some kind of dust or something to where it would fall on the people when they went into the voodoo shops and stuff like that down there in New Orleans. And so I'm careful of the very spirits of people a lot of times, and I don't even want to be around negative energy in real life. It's draining when you have to deal with some of the stuff that you deal with online. And so now you got all of these people that's unvetted, undocumented from all walks of life. And so in addition to the different cultural norms and a way in which they're used to doing things because they didn't grow up like us. They don't worship the same way that we worship. They don't believe in a higher being in the same way. Maybe they do believe in a higher being, but it's not the same as you. It is a cultural difference. It is not a cultural norm for them to go around doing the things that they do. They don't look at things the same way. They don't even drive down the same streets the same way,
right,
on the same side of the streets as you. These people are unvetted, walking in here, doing what they want to do when they want to do it, and now it's our babies, it's our 14-year-olds, it's the little girls who are being murdered and stuff. That our politicians and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, they never say their name. They had every single pep rally, they had every single state in the swing states, but they never want to say their names. And these people are walking around and they're hurting your children.
Facts.
And you sitting there.
Oh, I'm live. I'll call you back.
Doing the community service thing, coaching Little League, and an illegal migrant from Honduras walks up and just start knifing up a 14-year-old little girl.
The sidelines and started waving the knife at a couple other people as he was running. And then a bunch of the dads, at least like 10 to 15 dads, just go running after
Hey, tell us women how y'all don't need men no more. But we gonna get to that later.
the guy and chased him all through the woods. And then like a 26-hour manhunt proceeded.
My goodness. I mean, we see behind you, it's a field. This is an all-American thing. We all do this on a Saturday. We go to our siblings' baseball games. You don't expect crime to happen there. Why in Indiana is this happening?
That's the question everyone's been asking, you know? I mean, it's a small town.
Because they're migrating.
It's one of those little close-knit towns. They have a big Labor Day weekend, like festivals. They have a music festival. They have fireworks shows, parades. Every day something different. And, you know, it's one of those towns where everybody knows everybody. So, I mean, for something like this to happen was shocking, just not for Lowell, but for all the communities around them.
And what are they saying about this illegal migrant? Was he on drugs? What would make him just run and jump on this young girl?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Nobody has an answer. You know, the detectives and I think now it's in the DEA's hands, so they're, you know, investigating.
14-year-old girl, he just jumped on her, started stabbing her from Honduras.
The last I heard is he just took a train from Colorado and ended up in Indiana. I don't know where he was going or what's going on, but he decided to be, I guess, like a drifter and cause havoc at a baseball game.
Yeah, that's
from Colorado. We just got done talking about the migrant crisis that's over in Denver and Aurora and the apartments buildings that's being taken over that they keep saying, oh no, ain't nothing happening over here. It's all cool. It's great. They're migrating across the country. So now it's not just about whether or not they're gonna go into the sanctuary cities.
Facts.
They're escaping the insane asylums that these mayors then designate themselves as sanctuary cities because they didn't want to work with Texas in order to close off the borders because they were so against Trump and they so against Republicans that they shot their own foot. They shot their own foot. And now it's coming to your doorstep. And now they're over in Indiana. And I ain't never even heard of nowhere in Indiana where it is that they've ever designated themselves as an opportunity zone for illegal migrants.
Right.
just proves it's not a Texas problem. It's not an Arizona problem. This is happening all over our country in small towns. How's the young girl doing and how are the players doing? Because I understand they were traumatized.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
You can only imagine how they feel. I mean, me witnessing it as an adult, it kind of shocks me. I mean, it puts you in a different perspective. You know, you change your views on a lot of things. The girl, she's doing very well. I mean, she ended up getting out of the hospital. She's, you know, being a trooper about it. She actually went to school. Her mom told her she didn't have to go to school if she didn't want to, but she wanted to be strong and she wanted to have a day at school. So, I mean, that tells you a lot about her character. And all the boys were kind of shocked. You know, they're all strong kids. I mean, they're only 12 years old, but at the same time, I mean, something like that.
Look, he got patches all in his hair. That's the one that stabbed that girl, 14 years old.
Let me rewind that. Let me show y'all something. Look at this monster.
Patches. Let's call them patches. Look crazy as hell.
It's insane, man. It really is. It's unacceptable. It's insane. And nobody is holding this administration accountable for what they've created in this country, on American soil. Nobody is holding them accountable for what it is that they've created in this country. And
right.
Is just like,
but they want your vote.
You know what? But she give me vibes. She had on a tan suit at the Democratic National Convention. We love the fact that she put bacon inside of her collard greens that she make inside of the bathtub. Roland Martin like her.
This a mess. This right here. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. 14-year-old girl. Nah, they taking over apartments in New York. I love Cash Jordan. I love him. Y'all should subscribe to him.
Bronx started renting a basement apartment to a woman who was from Ecuador. These migrants were gang members who had been arrested over and over.
So gangs are now taking over homes and apartments in New York City. In some cases,
Chicago, Denver, now New York.
In instances, they simply break in and destroy the place. And unfortunately, New York is not the only city in America where this is happening.
Some new video today shows that some are calling gang violence at an apartment complex in Aurora. We see men there entering an apartment building with several weapons, then busting down a door.
It's a new Jack City coming near
They see a
you.
man pointing a gun down a driveway. They chase that man into a basement apartment and he made the arrest. And he's an asylum seeker. He's a migrant.
They used this woman to get them in there, and once one of them was in there, it became like a clubhouse for 8 or 9 of the most dangerous people the landlord had ever been introduced to.
You can see the windows are shattered out. There are things on the roof damaged. Fire officials on the scene tell us the spark was an extension cord that was charging multiple e-bikes. Now, they say this is a property, again, that home right in the middle, that is a problem for the community. They say they have seen people coming and going, and they say it was only a matter of time before this property caused a problem.
And right now, even as we speak, a new migrant caravan is on its way to the U.S.-Mexico border. Those in the caravan say they want to cross into the U.S. before November's election.
They weren't afraid of being arrested. They weren't afraid of anything. They knew nobody was going to do anything, so they just came back and set up shop like everything was everything.
So 2 homes were just totally destroyed after a gang took one over and accidentally burned it down. But nobody's talking about how this problem of gangsters taking over apartments and using them as hideouts tends to happen more in sanctuary cities than anywhere else. And it's been happening here in New York for months, fueled by the proliferation of dangerous gang members through our shelter system, who act as if they're entering an American sanctuary city as someone who's fleeing poverty or persecution, when the only thing on their mind is persecuting the law-abiding. And the reason this is happening in New York and Chicago and Denver and other cities like this is because these gang members understand, according to critics, that they can get away with a lot more in parts of the country where laws are designed to protect them. For example, in New York, it's against the law for police to share the immigration status of someone they arrest with the federal government. And part of the reason gang members operate with such brazenness here is because even if the NYPD arrests them and federal immigration finds out, our police are not allowed to hold that individual until the government can come get them, which means immigration enforcement has to make their own arrest on their own time with zero help from our city. And that brings us to the real reason why we're now witnessing gang activity in this country that we've never seen before. These criminals, once they get here, not only are they protected, they can also take advantage of a very generous social safety net set up for those fleeing extreme poverty. And they take advantage of this generosity to connect not with a path leading to the American dream, which is what most asylum seekers do, but with the criminal underworld. Now, New York in particular finds itself between a rock and a hard place, because while our mayor and police realize the dangers we're now facing because of this gang activity, they're fighting an uphill battle against a legal system that keeps criminals out on the street when they commit minor, non-violent offenses, like engaging in a calm, peaceful shoplifting spree that doesn't hurt anything except the bottom line of a big company, or shut down one of New York's many small, struggling businesses. But critics say we've got another problem, because this city and its shelter system are now full of individuals who may not be who they say they are, and may be hiding from a past life as a criminal, or worse, trying to start a new life of crime here in America, which recently happened when gang members took over a building and started a fire that led to 3 law-abiding families losing their homes.
Wow. Unbelievable.
So, fires in New York City, that's nothing out of the ordinary. In fact, these guys put out about 24,000 of them every single year. But recently, the FDNY encountered a fire that was different from the norm, not because of what caused it, but because of who started it and how they did it.
You can take a look at those 2 split homes right behind me there. You can see the windows are shattered out. There are things on the roof damaged. That is where the fire originated, and it all has to do with what was on the backyard of that property that we're going to give our viewers.
So before we see the backyard of this place, it's important to understand who was inside this building illegally that started the fire to begin with. And the home in question is located in Marine Park, a very nice residential neighborhood, and it had been abandoned for a very long time, long enough that junkies were able to get inside and had been squatting there. But according to the New York Post, those junkies rented out the home or part of the home to asylum seekers who then moved in and were living there as well. Neighbors interviewed said problems had been happening at the home for a while, and an unknown number of people were living inside of it. They claim there were fights started between people living at the property and neighbors nearby. And what you have here is a critical mass of people living inside one particular property doing things inside of it that are not exactly legal or safe, which is why it burned down.
What was back there was a hoarding of trash that basically acted as an accelerant and kindling for the fire. Now, fire officials on the scene tell us the spark was an extension cord that was charging multiple e-bikes. Now, when that extension cord caught fire, so did the lithium-ion batteries. The flames
So the backyard of this home, which was valued at $750,000, it was full of stolen e-bikes.
Wow.
Now from the street, you can see a lot of the debris that caught on fire in the back that had kind of been hauled out onto this little side area here. But there are some photos of the backyard online. Look at this. It was basically a big dump right there, ready to catch fire. What a disaster. But what's really sad about this story is that the people in this property that were living there, destroying it, their behavior destroyed both properties on either side of it as well. If you look at the front door of the house to the left, you'll see paperwork from the city that stops people from coming inside, as the property was damaged pretty badly. The side of the house is burned and scorched. It's likely totaled, which is a shame. You can tell people were living inside of it because the exterior is well maintained. It looks like the porch has recently updated windows. It looks nice. There's landscaping work out front, but now the roof area has no windows and there's a burned up mattress on top of the building. And whoever was living there, spending money on that property, improving it, now does not have access to it and can't live there, all because our city has a system in place that allows gang members to take over properties and do whatever they want inside of them. But sadly, this story gets even worse.
This is a property, again, that home right in the middle where you can see the burns on the side, that is a problem for the community. And they say it was only a matter of time before this property caused a problem. That's what they say they were worried about, that they were reporting to every agency they could. And unfortunately, those calls, despite that, this incident is still happening here today.
So the fire at this property was so intense, it not only took out the property that was on the left side, but the property on the right side that was attached to the yellow wall, that one was also condemned as well. And there was a family living there that had 3 small kids. And now this family, who'd apparently purchased the home back in 2021, now they've got nowhere to go. And this has people asking, at what point does creating a city that is a sanctuary for criminals with laws that don't punish them something that starts impacting the law abiding? Now, since these neighbors shared an adjacent wall with this property that was turned into a house of horrors, when they were interviewed, they claimed that people were just coming and going from that place at all hours of the night. They suspect that many of the folks entering and leaving were people buying things that were illegal. Plus, they claim that there was always fighting going on here in the way of verbal arguments and shouting matches at all hours of the day. And apparently this year, 18 complaints were filed with 311 for public disturbances. But it gets even worse, because before the fire started that took out these 3 properties, police had been called to this place 15 times over the course of 2 weeks. That's twice a day. And nothing was done to remove these bad actors from a property they did not own. Plus, it reveals that this entire area was...
That's New York. I'm not going to let all these videos play. I'm sleepy. So we got Indiana from Honduras. He got patches all in his hair. Clearly has a mental problem. Clearly. See, a 14-year-old girl just stabbed her up, had a machete, like, because the knife was like 16 inches, stabbed her. This Indiana, not sanctuary. That's New York we just dealt with.
Long nights with loud music.
This still New York.
Outside and garbage around the neighborhood is what tenants at this building on 10th Street and 44th Drive in Long Island City have been dealing with for the past few months.
I have a lot of loud music. I have big speakers over there in the corner, particularly on the weekends.
Kiko has been living in this building for 32 years and has never seen anything like it. It all started when the 128-room Mayham hotel was turned into a New York City migrant shelter. He and other neighbors have seen kids riding up and down the sidewalk, jumping off porches, and at times taking showers by the spigot and even taking water to cook meals right on the street.
There's like 2 or 3 cars that they use to cook. And then it appears that they may be selling the food to the people in the hotel.
Anderson Corro has been living at the shelter with his wife and 2 kids for approximately 3 months. He says people at the shelter have to sign in and out, and a 9 p.m. curfew was implemented as of last Thursday to ensure families and kids are in their rooms at that time.
Son personas que tienen permiso de trabajo.
And adds the only people who are allowed to stay out past 9 are people that have a special permit, usually related to their shift at work.
I see a lot of people after 9 p.m. A lot of kids after. I see them at 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock in front of the building with their bicycles. Nah, they don't go back at 9 o'clock.
And you're sure they're the kids from the shelter?
Yeah, because there's no other kids around here. There's no families. There's not a lot of people that live around here.
And tenants also told me they know those families need a place to live and be safe, but they want more regulation and more supervision to guarantee the safety of the neighborhood and of those kids. Of course, we reached out to the city of New York to see what other regulations they will implement, if any, but we haven't heard back. Hi, back to you.
Grace, I'm sure you haven't. Now, this messed me up. Last night, Venezuelan walking up to O Block. Anybody know O Block ain't nothing to play with in Chicago? Listen, this is all planned. This is your civil war coming to a city next to your house soon. For real.
Yo, it's your boy D's Video back again with another video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel on the road to 100K. Today we're gonna talk about, man, Venezuelan gang members are walking in front of O Block, man, firing shots. Let's jump straight into it. You know, for anybody that thought I was capping, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to tell y'all that these Venezuelan gang immigrants, man, you know, they've been targeting Chicago, Indiana, Colorado, Arizona, and several other states. And clear as day, man, you know, they trying to take over territory, you know. This is a prime example, you know, they walking in front of O Block, you know. They apparently say that, you know, the shots was fake, but from the video, they sound real, but it could have been fake too, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it didn't sound like it was hit nothing in that, so it definitely, man, you know that.
And the fact that we kill each other every day. It's time to unite, black people. It's time to unite. Because this your civil war coming soon. Us versus them. Flat out.
A dangerous game, man. And now it's gonna come to the point that, man, a lot of these communities, man, is gonna have to stick together. You know, if y'all don't want them coming in and taking over territory, y'all gonna have to put y'all differences to the side and come together. Because it's clear as day that they targeting African American neighborhoods. They ain't trying that with the Mexican blocks or the Latino blocks in Chicago, because they know that's gonna be a hard ball game to play. You know, but you going up against blocks that's already beefing. You got this block beefing with a block over, and it's beefing with 2 more blocks over. So these Venezuelan gangs, is going to be easy for them to get in there. You know, it's already, you know, several East Side gangs has been getting into it with them. I don't know if it's true or not. They saying No Limit Calvin was allegedly dropped by one of them Venezuelan.
He was.
It's real, man. It's serious. You know, one thing we gotta realize is, you know, they coming from, you know, third world countries. You know what I'm saying? They wake up every day and, you know, they get fed the image and the dream that, oh, the United States is the land of opportunity. It's the American dream. You get over there, you're gonna be rich, you're gonna be famous. And a lot of them immigrants coming over here are starting to realize that, you know, it ain't as easy as it's look on TV and in the movies and all of that. You come over here and you talking about you struggling. You got millions of families that's already struggling.
Facts.
So that's one thing that these immigrants will definitely have to realize, that I know in the movies it seems like the United States is the land of opportunity, and rightfully so. You know, as far as with voting and several other things, we may be winning in that aspect. You know, it's not a dictatorship company. I mean, I say company, country, But at the end of the day, man, you know, we got it hard over here, you know. So if you
Facts.
come over here, you're gonna see, you know, especially if you in Chicago and a lot of these cities, you're gonna see. You think it was rough over there, it's rough over here too, you know. But
Facts.
I just hope and pray, man, that you know, a lot of these communities come together, man, because if y'all come together, man, you know, a lot of stuff won't be going on, man. But you know, it is rumored that you know, some Venezuelan crews trying to take over some apartment complex in 600 territory. And pretty much the BDs, man, you know, they went to that address and they confirmed that ain't no Venezuelan crew coming in their hood taking over nothing. But like I say, man, from this viral video, man, as y'all can see clear as day, man, you know, them dudes, man, is walking in front of old block man, taunting them dudes, man. So they letting y'all know, man, they ain't going nowhere. But I'm trying to tell y'all, if a lot of neighborhoods come together, man, and we start sticking together and put that differences to the side, man, there's no way that we can let somebody come in and take what's ours. You know what I'm saying? But it first is gonna start.
We got to unite now. This is crazy, but this is all by design. And the person who has open borders is the Biden Harris administration. Go ahead, because it's not going to stop. She said on day one, she going to release everybody from the detention center. I'm like, they in the detention center because they got arrested. So you going to release them, put them back out? That Honduras boy stabbed up a 14-year-old girl over the weekend at a ball game. Just walked up to her, pushed her on the first video and started stabbing her. You gonna let them all out? Hmm. Now, after all that stuff about Aurora with them taking over the apartment buildings they condemned, the police finally did something because of the national attention.
Big breaking emergency news. Authorities in Colorado, in Aurora, Denver, and Arapahoe County are now raiding apartment buildings. This is another apartment building that has been taken over inside of Aurora. This is happening right now. Police are raiding these buildings, and they just revealed that they have arrested multiple members of this gang that has been taken over. And it's also been revealed that they have arrested a key leader of this gang as well. So this is a big development, and we could even see responses, retaliations to things like this from this gang inside of the city. We have a statement from the mayor on this as well. We're going to get into all these details really quick, guys. Please just hit that like and not subscribe. I'm posting
right, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment
on all this big news going on right now, and it helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. All right, so
and this is Patrick Humphrey.
Complex has been taken over. This is insane, and police are raiding it, and they have arrested 4 members of this gang, and also ICE is involved. Federal authorities, SWAT operations, special investigations were all involved in this raid, and they are saying that they also captured one of the leaders of this gang as well. So this is big. They are making moves, and they are making arrests, and maybe they haven't revealed this yet because they had investigations going on behind the scenes, but they just revealed this, and things are happening. But we could also see retaliations from these criminal organizations. So this is happening at the Ivy Crossing Apartments, and this is near the crossing of Quebec and Harvard Street. This is according to the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office, reportedly did a sweep operation and arrested 4 TDA gang members. And it says the operation was a joint op by special investigators from SWAT and ICE. It says they recovered a stolen car, multiple illegal substances of different kinds, and they stopped a car with attempt to locate from Aurora PD for a homicide at the 11th. And
homicide.
Right, so 6 total were taken into custody, and 4 part of the TDA were given to ICE. Right, so 4 gang members have been arrested at the Ivy Crossings apartment, which is in Aurora. It's right here, right? It's right near all this other stuff. It's 5 minutes away from all these other reports that I've been covering the past week that this has been going on. And this has actually been going on for months, but this is reaching a tipping point. So police and authorities did make this arrest. And it's actually interesting that the Arapahoe Police Department are coordinating with ICE to make this arrest. So I think that's a good thing that they are doing that, because normally their sanctuary status of the state normally prohibits cooperation. So I think this is good that they're working together, and 4 of these members have been arrested. There's also reports of a major gang leader that was arrested.
That's Colorado. You can't make this up. Back to Chicago. Wait a minute. Let me
Want to support me? Go to Nene Marie 37 on Instagram and purchase you. Hey, look, I ain't trying to start no gang war. I ain't trying to start no beef with each other. But these people are illegal. They real gangsters, and man, they trying to take over. Now, it was shots fired reported. 6415 South King Drive, inside O Block. And then it was a video of the migrants, the Venezuelans walking down.
and I showed y'all that video.
And it was gunshots let off, and they was walking down, and they was deep. Now, Pastor Brooks had came out. Now, this is the pastor. This is the pastor who loved Old Block. This is the pastor who got the church. This is the pastor who Big Dale there was with. This is the pastor who do Project Hood. This is the pastor who was just with Donald Trump. He came out and retweeted the shots fired at 6415 South King Drive. And not only did he retweet Spot News, but he also gave out a warning to the residents that they think that the Venezuelans that live in a building don't have a lot of guns. Y'all crazy. To be careful. And this is the pastor. This is Pastor Brooks. Like I said, was with Big Dale, Project Hood, the famous old block pastor who held all the funerals. He even nervous. Hey, now, for the people who still don't believe, type in Chicago Woodline migrants. Type in Woodline migrants, and you're going to see Dro City, where the migrants was chasing the gang members. They was actually chasing the gang members. The gang members tried to kick them off the block, and they got into it with the gang members, and they outnumbered the gang members, man. It was chasing them, robbed them, assaulted them. People who was even willing to press charges on the block. And then after that, the immigrants, it was another call that the migrants wouldn't leave. They was posted up. Like, they posted up on 62nd, 61st, and Kenwood, and they wouldn't leave. This is not myth or none of that. I don't know what the other guys talking about with the shots fired yesterday. They had came out at 11. They had came out at 11:30 this morning, man. This morning, 11:30. This shit happened at 8:23 p.m. So for them to come out and say, "Oh man, no migrants went over here. Why didn't y'all come out last night?" Everybody got cell phones. Everybody's on the internet. They game numbers. You know what I'm talking about? They get on the game when they woofing that Taekwondo world and all that. Why did they get on there yesterday? Because they really don't know. And the migrants is deep. They are in a Woodline area deep, and they get all the buildings. Why are they so deep, Churches News? Because the government gave them money, so which they got money for apartment. Which money for apartment, they could buy all the apartments. Everybody come over here, they find a building, and the landlords are kicking the African Americans out for them because they have guaranteed money. When you have guaranteed money and you a landlord, you rather go with the guaranteed money. Sort of like Section 8. If you on Section 8, I'd rather take a Section 8.
I'm gonna stop that right there. Look, we got the now. This just happened in New York City. Now, where you think these people going?
If they kick you out of here?
I don't know, because I don't have a family here, and I'm alone, but just with my baby. And the father,
This New York.
He knows I'm pregnant, and he's leaving.
A spokesperson for the mayor's office. The mayor's said he didn't want to do it, but our shelter system is now so crowded.
Now, where they going?
Are getting kicked out, and although tens of thousands of people will soon be homeless, the city says it's got no choice but to evict them.
New York City now has permission to start bringing down the number of people at shelters by imposing a 60-day limit.
That move impacts thousands of migrant families staying at these facilities, including the controversial one on Randall's Island.
The city says that many of these migrants are able to find a new place to live, whether that's with family or friends. But advocates say they are very concerned that this will lead to an uptick in street homelessness.
Do you have any family here?
No.
So you'd be by yourself?
Yeah, it's difficult for me because my baby is too little.
The number of asylum seekers being housed is shrinking. City Hall.
Wintertime coming. Wintertime coming.
I call them eviction notices. I call them time limits.
It's not financially sustainable, and it's just not the right things to do. People should not be in shelters their entire lives.
The move comes after officials promised to crack down on illegal tent encampments in Randall's Island Park, many set up by migrants whose time at the city-run shelter has expired.
Shelters have always been designed to be a temporary stopgap until families can get on their feet. But without inclusive and supportive housing solutions, our shelter system will remain overburdened and our families will continue to fall through the cracks.
So the same families invited into the New York City shelter system are now being invited to leave. But even though the city has spent over $5 billion on housing since this
$5 billion.
these forced evictions of families tell us is that absolutely zero people have benefited from this humanitarian crisis, except whoever got the $5 billion. Yet as bus after bus from the southern border arrived in New York, we heard from many of our elected officials how great the asylum crisis would be for everyone involved. We were told people fleeing poverty would have fantastic new lives here in America. We were told new workers were on their way, which would benefit local businesses facing employee shortages. And we were told that New York City would thrive and flourish like never before as we welcomed in the next generation of New Yorkers. But
all lies.
not to be true, and everyone has been lied to about this asylum crisis, including the very people it's named after. Because all those jobs we were told awaited the 100,000 people who've come through New York seeking asylum never materialized. And if you visit any shelter in town, you'll see the sad results of mass unemployment that still plague many asylum seekers who were promised a better future. Yet even those with work authorization can't get meaningful jobs in New York City's economy that would allow them to rent $5,000 apartments. And sadly, many folks now find themselves stuck permanently at the bottom of the city's economy. Which brings us to the real reason why the city is now evicting everyone from its shelters, including families with children, because the asylum crisis has backfired, not just on the people who are now homeless, but also on the city itself. Because although everyone getting evicted from these shelters moved in with the best of intentions, New York was not able to deliver on them. And the city has been stuck providing perpetual assistance to 50,000 families on a monthly basis for over a year. But because of this controversial new eviction plan, luxury hotels like the one down the street here are going to be cleared out in just a few weeks.
So where these people going? 40,000 families getting evicted right before school because the school's been overcrowded. They don't speak English. So I don't know how they learning because they don't have enough Spanish teachers. I don't know how. Now, this is my last video because he says some real stuff. I love him.
The apartment building takeover that unfolded in Aurora, Colorado 11 days ago that shocked the world has now moved to Chicago. This single 911 phone call, this frantic phone call, has over 12.5 million views, over 17,000, now 18,000 people have retweeted this single audio recording. Listen to this.
Yeah, Mr. Sam, person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive, caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All their clothes are filled. Nothing.
Imagine you lived in that apartment building, second floor. You hear something downstairs. It's people, new people, blocking the entry to go to and from to the first level. And then you hear the motorcycles. And then you see, that they're armed. What would you be thinking? This is probably what's happening right now and going through the minds of many people inside of this apartment building. But the more that you look into what's really unfolding in this country, the more you'll realize we're walking into a world of change. As the weather gets colder and colder, you think about what's going to happen in New York City, in San Francisco, in Denver further. You look at all these other cities, people are going to be seeking shelter. In this video,
Yeah,
I'm going to show you
I
exactly
just said that. I just said wintertime is coming.
and why I think Florida could be in for a world of change. I mean, look at this report here. This 326,000 people have just relocated to Miami. 326,000.
Wow.
Just at the DMV, because I wanted to see if this was actually true. There was a viral video showing thousands and thousands of people looking to get, IDs and driver's license that were coming from South Africa. And I wanted to see if this was true. And I drove in and out of that DMV and realized, yeah, it's even more extreme than the viral. We're walking into something really, really, really big here. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content, educate more people on what's happening in America's economy. If you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative or derogatory items in a credit report, go to greatcreditfast.com. Click the link in the description just below the video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. Take a look at this. So, what's very fascinating here is Venezuela. They are now showing you 22
I'm falling asleep.
on Facebook, serious crimes. 22-year
I'm sleepy.
Bloomberg, right? And they say it's because of this, right? So where are they going to? They're going to go where they're treated best, right? That's where they're going to go. And when you look at what this lady said, they're probably treated best here. Listen to this. $15,000 in food stamps and $5,000 cash money.
That's a month. A month.
I was in Denver about a month ago, and I heard that a lot has changed in Denver, and I heard about this hotel that's essentially been rented. The entire hotel has been rented and turned into housing. So I went and I interviewed a family, and this family is also from Venezuela. And I asked them, tell me a little bit about how this entire situation works. They told me, hey, John, we had a translator. They said, John, we get paid monthly, we get shelter, we get food, and then they put us essentially through college for free.
For free.
It's a 6-month, training, like a college, type of experience. And they'll teach you whatever you want to learn, whether it be construction, whether it be, computer science, whatever you want to do, they're going to teach you. And they have, a list of 5 or 6 different, fields that you can choose from. And then after that, then they, help you get on your, on your feet, and they'll help cover some of the costs until, you're eventually on your own. Eventually, that's what they said, right? So when you see this amount of money flowing, and then you look at where this is all going to be going next, you'll realize where this is going to be going for U.S. jobs. People that come to America qualify for something called a W.
Here come your job.
Tax credit, a work opportunity tax credit, which allows companies to write off upwards of $9,600 per year per employee. Think about it, $9,000 per employee. When you look at where Americans are, they're to the teeth in debt right now. Auto loan debt, credit card debt, mortgage debt. And they can't, so 80% of people can't afford to go through a fast food drive-through, right? So when people come to America and they say, look, we don't have any of that debt. In fact, we can work for less. And you'll qualify for a $9,600 per year write-off by hiring us. What's going to happen? Big corporations are going to jump on that opportunity.
Absolutely.
They're going to jump on that opportunity. And so imagine, what does this mean for construction labor? What does this mean for, drivers? What does this mean for all the different landscaping jobs and all these different fields that are manual labor, right? You're going to start to see a race to the bottom.
What do you mean for all these companies that just marathon on strike? UAW, that's the Teamsters. UAW talking about this is not the time to strike. It is not, because you're going to lose your job this time. They're going to let you go. Yes, and they're going to hire them. Watch what I tell you.
40,000 apartments under construction in Miami, and you have mostly, a lot of men that are hardworking. They know nothing about the, the easy life that America was accustomed to. They're conditioned for a hard world. They come here, they see the opportunity, they're going to be fighting for it. That's for sure. And when you have 40,000 apartments under construction, they're going to be looking to get into construction. They're going to be looking to get into these fields, and things are just going to ramp up. I mean, look at this: Chicago apartment building taken over by them, right? So, and this came out this morning. A group of approximately 32 armed individuals, identified by witnesses on social media reports as Venezuelan migrants, reportedly took control of an apartment building in Chicago late last night. According to multiple reports, the group has not only trespassed but displayed, tools openly in the building's courtyard, accompanied by motorcycles, effectively intimidating residents and potentially taking over the premises. Now, it's been reported in Aurora, Colorado, that what they essentially did was they said, "Look, we're the landlords now. You pay us. You pay us now." And so the landlord still has to pay property tax, insurance, they pay all the cost of being a landlord. And they would basically just get the upside of being a landlord, right? They get all the profits, but none of the expenses. And so you have to ask yourself this big question. If we're walking into a crisis in this country, not just for new arrivals, but also for Americans, people that are U.S. born citizens, what's going to happen here? We're likely to be walking into a major period of conflict as inflation likely gets worse and the economy continues to erode, the job market fades. It kind of reminds me of what Ray Dalio warned over 2 years ago to Business Insider, saying that it's very likely America will be walking into a civil war, right? Is that actually going to happen? I mean, I think,
and that's what I've been saying. This is your civil war. It's us versus them. We got to link up, black folk, for real, for real. This is the beginning of the civil war. This is all planned. I'm telling you.
Possible. I mean, I made this prediction 5 months ago, saying that that they're going to be seizing homes. That this is what's going to happen. 220,000 views talking about this, and I was a little early, probably 3 months early, but it's already in Aurora, it's already in Chicago, allegedly, right? And so you see this, you have to ask yourself, are we going to see this happen next? Where in Brazil, they basically canceled X. They canceled it. And a lot of people get a lot of information from places like TikTok and places like X.
All I'm saying is coming to us. They already here in Detroit. They in my daughter complex, Clinton. Listen, they everywhere. I see them every day at Amazon. When I get off work, I go do my Amazon. They are there. Last week, the Venezuelan didn't have last week he didn't have braces. Now he got braces. I'm like, since when Medicaid start paying for braces? How the hell he get braces? How can he even afford braces? Piss me off. Anyway, have a good night. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. I'm gonna stay on this. This don't make no sense. It pisses me off all the time. Follow me on Rumble, Agena19, so I can get paid. They have approved all my videos over there on Rumble. Download Rumble, Agena19. Like, share, subscribe. What? Ask me who am I on the phone with? All right, good night. I'm going to sleep. I'm so sleepy.